Here we go. With Jeffrey Lampkin. Everybody get up. Say what? Everybody get up. Come on. With Jeffrey Lampkin. Motivation, inspiration, educating new revelation. With Jeffrey Lampkin. Entertainment just for you. Smiling out 'cause God loves you. Jeffrey Lampkin. Somebody turn the lamp on.
Exceptional women know where to shop for shoes when an everyday look won't do. At Kicks Lady Shoes, you'll find the latest fashions at prices you can afford. Shop the new Flirty Find shoes, all priced under $100. Whether you're looking for career wear, comfortable shoes, or fun, pretty spring fashions, you'll find the largest selection of shoes and purses at Kicks Lady Shoes. And when you shop at Kicks Lady Shoes, you keep your money here in Columbia with a locally owned business. Shop us today on Devine Street and like us on Facebook.
In times of joy, in moments of grief, we are there. When the world looks for truth, broadcasters come through, even when all else fails. Today, with more ways than ever to experience the moments that transform our lives, Americans still choose broadcast television and radio more than all other media combined. We are the local broadcasters of radio and television.
This truck came out the entrance. It didn't yield the right of way. It tore my truck completely up, and the dashboard fell on my knees. The surgeon told me I had broken my neck. I had to have immediate surgery done. I called Leap Law the next day. Leap Law worked with me personally and took control of the situation. I just had total confidence in them that they were on my side 100%.
For beautiful casual and dress attire for men and ladies, go to the Columbia style leader, Jerome & Company.
Jeffrey Lampkin.
Good morning, and we're back here on the Jeffrey Lampkin Show. Listen, put your coffee cups down right now. We're going to have some very intriguing conversation. What are you talking about, Jeffrey? You know I'm always talking about either children, the arts and music, or education. And this morning, we're talking about education, and I am honored and elated to have the superintendent of the Fairfield County School District, Superintendent J.R. Green, in the house. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
I'm doing well.
First of all, now you know last week we were talking about bow ties, and I learned how to tie one. I don't have one on this morning, but the superintendent has on one that I think I'm going to have to convince him to give me by the end of the show. I love it. I love it. Superintendent Green, talk to us. First of all, we're so excited. A lot of people have asked, because I have the opportunity and the privilege to work over in the Fairfield County School District, and a lot of people are like, you need to get the superintendent on your show, because if, believe it or not, I am a proponent of people who are good people. This is a good man, and you'll understand by the end of the show why I say that, but I'm constantly talking about the things and the changes where in the short amount of time you've been there that you've made to impact the student and the child. So first of all, give us your educational background so that the viewers will have an opportunity to really know who J.R. Green is.
Well, I am a graduate of the University of South Carolina right here in Columbia.
Go Gamecocks.
I earned a bachelor's degree in business administration, a master's in teaching business education, a master's in education administration, and I am at the point where I'm working on my dissertation and the PhD program in ed leadership, and I hope to have that wrapped up no later than December. So I've been at the University of South Carolina for quite a while.
Okay, wow. And so with the opportunity, because you say you started in business administration, did you ever think that the role would take you to education?
Actually not. I mean, I think when I was first in school, I did some substitute teaching. And ironically, my mother is a retired teacher. So I never really thought I would pursue the career that she did.
Now, where was Mom teaching at?
Mom taught in Lee County.
Good morning, Mom.
Yeah.
So wait a minute, Lee County. So you're originally from Lee County?
Yes. Yeah, I graduated from Bishopville High School.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That was now. Was that before it became Lee Central?
Yes. I graduated in 1987 when it was still Bishopville High School and Mount Pleasant High School, were the two high schools in the district.
Wow. So you come from Lee County. There's something. All my folks out in something Lee County. Good morning to all of you. So you're a country boy.
Yeah, exactly.
From good stock, as they would say in the country. Okay. And so you saw your mom teaching in education, but never thought about it yourself.
Never thought about it.
So you thought you wanted to own your own business?
Yes, my father was a business major, so
Okay.
I guess I was going to pursue the avenue that my father did.
Okay.
Upon graduation, I had, and I thought I was a somewhat decent athlete.
Right.
I played 4 years of high school basketball, and I decided I wanted to be a coach.
Okay.
And so I did some substitute teaching and said, I'd like to go back so I could get into coaching,
Okay.
which I eventually did. And I guess I thought I'd be the next John Thompson, but it didn't necessarily work out.
It didn't work out that way.
So I coached for a couple of years,
Okay.
and I think it went pretty good. But then I had an offer to maybe move into administration, and once I moved into administration, I quickly saw that that's probably where my future was. I
Okay.
was not going to be the next John
Found
Thompson.
your niche.
I found my niche.
Found your niche, and you were
Yeah.
making it happen. And so you started out in doing administration. And what are some of the districts that you've had the opportunity to work in?
I first went into administration at Spring Valley High School in Richland School District 2.
Okay. Good
Okay.
morning. Good morning,
Yeah.
Spring Valley.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, first at Spring Valley. I transitioned from Spring Valley and moved to Keenan High School, where I served 6 years as an assistant principal at Keenan High School under the direction of Dr. Steve Wilson, who's now
Yes.
superintendent of schools in Calhoun County. I left Keenan High School and took over the principalship at Central High School in Pageland, South Carolina.
Right.
I stayed in that capacity for 4 years. Had a very exciting opportunity to become the assistant superintendent for curriculum and instruction for the Chesterfield County School District, which has about 8,000 students in about 16 schools. So I accepted that challenge. That went very, very well. We did some very exciting things during my tenure.
And let me stop right there, because a lot of times, and for those of you who are in education, you'll understand and know when you're assistant superintendent of curriculum and instruction, you're focusing more on the courses that are offered, the testing, the scores, and things of that nature, which I guess sometimes, I don't know, you find it ironic because it seems like in education you find a lot of women who are in those positions, and you find the men more in the discipline or the the field operations. What do they call that?
Well, you find a lot of men in operations,
Right.
in personnel.
Okay.
You're right. When I first went to my first CNI meeting of all the instructional leaders in the state, there were very few men in the room, and quite frankly, even less African American males in the room. So. But I was very excited that the district had the confidence in me to direct the instructional program in the district.
Right.
And as the assistant superintendent for curriculum and instruction, you really begin to develop a vision for teaching and learning in the district.
What's the difference between being a teacher, being a principal, and being an assistant superintendent? And I know the further that you get up a chain, the less day-to-day interaction you have with the student. Because I don't want to say the further you get from the student, because everything is about the student and their best interest. But what are some of the differences, so that my viewers will understand, between being a principal and being the assistant superintendent?
Well, let's just look at it from this perspective. As a teacher, you have the opportunity to affect the lives of a class of students.
Okay.
Let's say you have 25 students. Okay. Let's say you are a high school teacher and you have 3 sections. That's 90 students.
Right.
As a principal, you have the opportunity to affect the lives of an entire school, because you direct the entire program. So that could be 1,000 students. As an assistant superintendent or superintendent, you have the opportunity to affect the lives of an entire district, which could be 3,000, 5,000, 20,000 students. So you look at it from that perspective. And as I transitioned, I was excited about the things that I had done as a principal, but I really relished the opportunity to affect the lives of students throughout an entire district.
So it's just being able to have the impact to touch more lives and more students. And so you end up going over to Fairfield Central High School as the superintendent. And we're going to talk about that, because you're leaving Chesterfield County and you come over to Fairfield County. So, of course, a lot of questions as to why. But we're going to hold that. Listen, I know you're getting dressed for church. I know things are happening. Keep it right here. We got more happening on the Jeffrey Lampkin Show with Superintendent J.R. Green. Coffee cups up, your pinkies are out. Good morning.
Jeffrey Lampkin.
Cannon & Graves is a proud sponsor of the Jeffrey Lampkin Show. Located at 1837 Wilson Road in Newberry, Cannon & Graves has the perfect certified used car for you. Their extensive inventory has something in every price range, and they can get everyone financed, regardless of credit. All cars come with a warranty to give you the peace of mind you deserve. Come see Steve and Reggie and find your new car at Cannon and Graves.
What on earth?
No, wait.
How many tickets do you have? How can you afford to drive?
I can't. My insurance company dropped me.
You're driving without insurance?
Yeah, I don't know what to do.
My brother had the same problem. He called Leon Jones Insurance and got insured the same day, and it didn't cost a fortune. You should call them now. And by the way, I think I'll walk until you get insured.
Hi, I'm Amy Dillon from Palmetto State Armory. We're out here at Threat Management Group's outdoor training range conducting intermediate and advanced training courses. We are now offering advanced handgun, carbine, and shotgun training at our outdoor facility. Please contact us for more details on all firearm courses. We look forward to seeing you on the range.
It's rock and roll lotto sale. We're gonna treat you right. We'll finance you, my darling, so you can drive it home tonight. Girl, it's now or never, the bills won't wait around. Hit rock and roll lotto. Roll on down to the promised land with a hugger burning rubber and get treated like a king at rock and roll lotto sales. Thank you very much.
Jeffrey Lampkin.
Good morning. We're back here on the Jeffrey Lampkin Show. Listen, coffee cups down right now. Bring the families around the television. We're talking education and all things education with Superintendent J.R. Green of the Fairfield County School District. Now, before we left, we were talking about your history, so we know that you're definitely qualified to be the superintendent of Fairfield County School District and the superintendent of any school district because you've had the opportunity to be here, there, and around the square. You've been principal, you've been assistant principal, you've been in the classroom. Then you decide to go for superintendent. Mm-hmm. Why?
Well, you know, I kind of saw that in my future several years ago.
Okay.
And I guess when I was a principal, I was very content being a principal. Okay. I mean, we had some exciting things going on. The school was a twice named a Pamela Finest finalist, wow. And we had some, we were doing very good. Mm-hmm. Until the superintendent kind of tapped me and said, "I want you to lead the instructional program in Chesterfield County." Mm-hmm. So, at that point in time, I began to think in much broader terms, mm-hmm. and particularly after working in that capacity for 4 years, I saw that I really had the skill set necessary to really move an entire district. And it's ironic, I was a part of a tapping executive educators program that's sponsored by the state of South Carolina, where they identify all of the up-and-coming superintendents in the state. And I think there may have been 12, 13, 14, 15 people across the state who are part of that program.
How do you become part of that program? Is that a recommendation from the people that you currently were under at that time, so you're a superintendent?
Yeah, my superintendent. You have to apply to be a part of that program.
Okay.
Of course, you need recommendations from people like your current superintendent,
okay.
And then they select a cohort of individuals that they feel may be a part of the next generation of superintendents.
Wow, that's powerful. I know I have a lot of educator friends who actually watch the show, so that's good information that people will know, that there are always avenues. One of the things I often tell people, and we talk biblical terms as well, Scripture says study to show thyself approved, so you've got to study, you've got to be in there. You can't just walk into the position. You've got to have some experience, as which you had as well.
Well, it provided some outstanding training, and ironically, as I was saying, one of our case studies was about Fairfield County. And some of the issues that Fairfield was experiencing at that time. And I guess the whole purpose of the case study was, if you were a superintendent, how would you address some of these issues? Right. And I told the people in the cohort, and many were surprised, but I said, I'd love to go to Fairfield County. Wow. And quite frankly, several of them said, "JR, you must be crazy."
So you spoke it into existence then. Of where you want it to be.
Now, and even though I spoke it in, I said it then.
Right.
At that point in time, I was still in Chesterfield County.
Right.
I mean, I really had no idea that it would actually come to fruition.
Right.
But I thought it. I said, man, I'd love to go there because I've known a lot about Fairfield through Dr. Steve Wilson, who I worked with several years, because he is from Fairfield County. Okay. So I know the rich history that exists there. And lo and behold, it all came full circle. Now. Yes. My wife works at the nuclear facility in Fairfield County, in Jenkinsville, at VC Summer. So she had already kind of transitioned to Fairfield, but she was just traveling and commuting back and forth. So when this opportunity came developed, it's as if all the pieces of the puzzle fell in place. When me and my wife and my 3 daughters transitioned to Fairfield County, now I'm only 5 minutes away from the district office.
God orchestrated.
And she's only 15 minutes away from the new
Everybody's
facility.
together.
Everybody's together.
Everybody's together. Let's talk about that. You transitioned to Fairfield. And so, you know, on the Jeffrey Lampkin Show, y'all know one of the things y'all respect me for is to talk the truth. And we're going to talk the truth. So in the Fairfield County School District, there are highs, major highs, and there were some lows. And sometimes for the Fairfield County School District, the lows were highlighted that it would blur the vision of the high. So let's talk about the highs first. The arts program. They have a magnet school. You find that here and there, but I think because it's in a rural community, because let's talk about Winsboro, the town of Winsboro. Rural community. What is that like for you? What has that transition been like going from Chesterfield over to Winsboro? Have you, now I know you were raised in Lee County, so I guess it,
not much of a transition.
Not much of a transition there.
Yeah. I'm accustomed to being in small rural towns. I'll tell you, even though I was working in Chesterfield County, I had been commuting from right outside of Columbia. I lived off Spears Creek Church Road.
Okay.
So I wasn't living in Chesterfield County. But my children and my wife have transitioned very well. I mean, it's as if my children have been in Winsboro all their lives.
Okay.
You know, they are very much involved with the same things they were involved with before we transitioned there. I mean, they still do Girl Scout. They still participate in some sports activities like tennis and things of that nature. So they've transitioned very well.
Okay. I believe that education, now here's where we're going to go to some conversation. I believe that education, in the face of education, has changed from the early 90s and the early 2000s to the present day time now. What would you say is the #1 challenge that you find in education at this current day and time?
There are a lot of challenges.
Okay.
I'll tell you. I mean, if I had to, probably the one thing is we are in such a hyper accountable environment. And what I mean about that is, I mean, everything that we do in education is now measured by objective assessments. How do kids perform on tests? I mean, what is your average SAT score? How do they perform on HSAP? What are your intercourse scores? What are your HSAP scores? And testing really kind of drives the train. And you know, and the problem becomes we don't want to lose sight of children and really developing the entire child as we put all of our focus on being successful on standardized assessment. And that's a national movement. I mean, I think South Carolina is a part of a national movement where we put more and more and more increased emphasis on how do students perform on standardized tests. And really that's how people define your success or failure.
Are there some students who don't do well on tests?
Of course.
Okay.
I mean, there always will be students who do not test well.
Okay.
Just because they don't handle the high pressure environment of testing or for whatever reason. But the reality is that is how schools are being measured.
Right.
That's how teachers are being measured.
Right.
You know, right now there are some proposals that would suggest we should pay teachers based on how their students perform on these standardized assessments. So, you know, we always, you know, remain mindful of ensuring that students are successful, yet not lose focus that our mission and our charge is to develop the entire student.
Being a superintendent goes beyond the building, goes beyond the student, because the student has a parent. How do you foster parental involvement in a rural community? Because the reality is that when you're in a rural community, a lot of times you find it, there's a very diverse population. You have those who have degrees, you have those who don't have degrees, you have some who are able to read above a 12th grade level, some who are not able to read above a 5th grade level. And that's the reality of it. I think a lot of times we don't focus on that, but how do you foster that relationship with parents to let them know, hey, I understand that you got to work 45 hours, 50 hours. You need to get overtime to make ends meet, but your child is still here and they need you to work with them even after classroom teaching is done for the day?
Jeffrey, there are two things that need to happen for you to accomplish what you just described. First of all, you have to have a true open door policy. Okay. And a true open door policy means that regardless of what your concerns are, and when you have those concerns, I'm open. Okay. You know, ironically, my wife laughs about this, but I've had multiple instances where parents have come to my home to address some situations. Okay. And I welcome that. Okay. You know, quite frankly, if it's a pressing issue for you and I have time, regardless whether it's 7 o'clock in the afternoon or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I want to address it. And the other thing you have to do is to go where the people are, and not necessarily wait for them to come to you. So, you know, I had an opportunity to speak at a local church in Winsboro, Bethlehem AME, this past Sunday. I probably visited over 30 churches. I have spoken at probably most of those 30. And so I think I have done a good job of going to visit the people. We hold quarterly town hall meetings. We hold quarterly focus group meetings. We have a business partner breakfast that we do quarterly. We have a faith-based breakfast where we invite all of the faith community in for a breakfast and discuss how they can become more involved. So I think we have a very comprehensive outreach effort to really get involved with the community.
How do we keep parents motivated to be involved? I know that we're doing those programs and we're doing that. How do we show them that everything they've heard about Fairfield in the past and J.R. Green is here? It's a fresh set. How do you get them to say, we're going to give you a chance?
Well, I'll tell you, Jeffrey, our motto in Fairfield County is excellence through teamwork. And everywhere I go, I remind them that in order for us to maximize the academic and personal potential of each student in Fairfield County, we have to have all hands on deck. So when people say, who's a part of that team, JR, I said it'll be board members and the superintendent, and it'll be teachers and parents and classified staff, and moms and dads and uncles and aunts and deacons and pastors and neighbors. See, it'll take the efforts of us all if we want to accomplish what we say we want to. And I think people have embraced that philosophy and realized that everyone has a part to play.
2 years in a row, Fairfield County has been in the news, not this year, but 2 years prior, before you're coming. Fairfield County has been in the news. The school district fights in the cafeteria at the high school. Every year, when 1 year you thought it was done, and then the next year it was back again and it was showing, and it was like that was becoming the symbol of Fairfield County School District. How do you plan to address that, attack that, to change that image, to let people know that there are great things? And what are some of those things?
Well, first of all, let me say, you mentioned that you've not seen Fairfield County in the news any this year since my
In a negative way.
In a negative way. Yeah, we've been in the news many times for positive things. But I'll say the one thing, Jeffrey. I think people embrace the perspective that our #1 priority is safety. You know, I tell school board members and anyone who'd listen, if you talk to parents and ask, what are you most concerned with as it relates to your child? It won't be facilities. It won't be instruction. It won't be curriculum. Those things are important, but the most important thing is that you send me my child the same way I send them to you.
Wow.
So we ensure that students are educated in a very safe and nurturing environment, and that is non-negotiable. That exists regardless. Now, you know, sometimes people say, well, sometimes you have to take action that doesn't necessarily benefit a particular child, and I embrace that. Because our goal is to take actions that embrace the masses. And I can't allow any one child to hinder the opportunities of others. And so that's a position that we've taken.
I know we've got to wrap, we got to go. I think we're almost out of time. How much time we have? We're almost out of time? We're cut. We're out of time. We're out of time. So before we leave, the final people, Superintendent J.R. Green has come, made a difference, clearly. Test scores are rising, things are changing, the schools are safer over at Fairfield County. If you could say one thing to the parents right now and viewers out there, and as well as fellow educators, what would you say to encourage them to be a part of what's happening in their child's life?
I'll just say, Jeffrey, we have some tremendous things going on in Fairfield County. When I came, we had a stellar arts program, from theater to dance to music, and those things continue to thrive. I mean, we just put on a Lemire's performance in Fairfield County, which is almost unheard of at the high school level. We have a STEM early college academy where students begin in 7th grade working towards earning an associate's degree in science by the time they graduate high school.
Right.
That's through Midlands Technical College. So an outstanding partnership with Midlands Tech. We have a kindergarten intervention program where we are doing some tremendous things with students at the earlier grades. You know, as you said, test scores are rising. The environment and the culture is very productive. And if you live in the Fairfield area, then you have something to be proud of. If you're looking for some place to place your child that is a progressive area, that is cutting edge and next to none educational opportunities, look no further than Fairfield County.
I love it. It's been stated well. Listen, Superintendent J.R. Green, thank you so much, man, for coming and being with us on this morning. Listen, we've got more happening. Keep it right here. Your coffee cups are up, pinkies are out. I know you're getting dressed for church. Go ahead and make it happen. We're having a good day on the Jeffrey Lampkin Show. Good morning.
Jeffrey Lampkin.
Momo's Bistro, now serving lunch Tuesday through Friday from 11:30 to 2, and Sunday brunch from 10:30 to 2:30. Classic Southern food with classic French preparation. Dijon and shallot-encrusted New York strip, fresh seafood over local green salad and vegetables, and so much more. In a comfortable yet elegant setting. Momo's Bistro, 2930 Devine Street.
Exceptional women know where to shop for shoes when an everyday look won't do. At Kicks Lady Shoes, you can find shoes for every event in your life. Whether you're looking for a classy look, career wear, or fun, pretty spring shoes and purses, you'll find the largest selection at Kicks Lady Shoes. And when you shop at Kicks, you keep your money here in Columbia with a locally owned business. Shop us today on Devine Street and like us on Facebook.
I can't tell you how many times we've taken Michael to see the pediatrician thinking it was just a cold. Runny nose, itchy, watery eyes, sore throat. Our pediatrician recommended we go see Allergy Partners of the Midlands. And sure enough, it was an allergy. Our experience was great. Doctors Coleman and Markham are double board certified, so they're experts on allergies. That's all they do. We had him tested, decided on a treatment program, and now he is a happy, healthy kid again. There's nothing better than knowing you're doing the right thing for your child. Doctors Coleman and Markham made that happen.
Have you been hurt on the job? Who you hire matters. I'm Holly Atkins, and I served as chairman of the South Carolina Workers' Compensation Commission, and I know how to represent people who've been hurt on the job. At the Atkins Law Firm, we walk our clients through the claims process with knowledge and respect. If you've been hurt on the job, call me, because who you hire matters.
Everybody get up. Say what? Everybody get up. Come on. But Jeffrey motivation, inspiration, educated new revelation. But Jeffrey entertainment just for you. Smile and laugh 'cause God loves you. But Jeffrey Lampkin. Somebody turn the lamp on.